Okay, here we go.
I might sneak out.
I'm in the show? Am I here? Can y'all hear me? I can't hear anyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hola! Hey, Q!
Hey, I am super impressed. I'm like cheesing from ear to ear. That was a really good show. It turned out better than I thought, better than I could ever have expected, rather.
How you doing, Q?
I am doing well. I got an opportunity to eat while I was watching the show. I was starving. I've been going since 9 o'clock this morning. But I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, it was a great show. We got to see it, of course, at the premiere the other night, and it was loud, and it was so much energy in the house. So watching it,
it was
home
a great
tonight, I got to really hear it.
Good conversation. It's weird because I kind of forgot all of what we're talking about. Hey, Michelle.
Boy, you are smart.
You got your hair fixed all nice, got your lipstick on. We see you over there.
You are so boy, you be coming with it.
Thank you.
What's up? I mean, honor. We are honored to have you.
I'm honored to be here.
Man, thank you.
Funky, did you get a chance? Were you able to watch the chat? I mean, your fans
No,
were out,
Your
loving you.
fans were incredible.
Were they? No, I watched it from my TV in my living room. So I'm gonna go back on the once it posts on the Fox Soul YouTube and go back and look through it.
When you wasn't there, they got anxious too. You weren't there. They was like, "Where's Funky?" We were like,
you know, so funny. It didn't even cross my mind to watch from the computer and engage with the people in the chat. It didn't even cross my mind.
That's all I know to do. Yeah.
I have to admit, this was my first time doing that. Because usually I just watch it, on the big screen. So this was different, engaging, and kind of having your focus split. Sometimes I do like to just enjoy the show.
Right, and that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yes, it splits. You're right.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Are we live right now?
Yes,
yeah, we're live.
We got a question. We got some questions.
Yeah, I don't see any. I gotta.
You want to curate the questions?
So Q, if you think about what was one of your favorite moments about coming to the house and being in the house and having that experience, what was one of your favorite moments?
My favorite overall moment was how comfortable y'all made me feel to be vulnerable. That was the best. That was the best thing about that overall experience. Just like, wow, we're not making TV. Like, this is actually a comfortable space where we can talk just as a family. That was the biggest takeaway for me. Like I said, half of me forgot all the things we even talked about. So this was not like a replay of what we did. This was actually me watching a show like a viewer, because I'm like, I just forgot a lot of the conversations. But I loved, it was two things that I'm glad that I was able to convey, because I think it's going to unlock somebody's happiness. I love the conversation we had about the career happiness piece. I love that piece. And I love the marriage not being the end all be all piece. Like, I love those two pieces. And I think that those two tidbits of information are going to change somebody's life.
Your fans was going crazy. Your fans was like, we finally get to know. So they went crazy. You're going to love those.
Well, and I just want to echo that, Q, that when watching some of the dialogue with your fans, they actually recognize that you felt comfortable in a different way, that you feel comfortable on your own show, because there's a level of comfort that you feel there that is actually different than coming to the house. The house that's that dinner table. That's that, that's that relax. And it's a different experience. And so I love that your fans had an opportunity to see you actually engage in a different manner with us, and that we were actually capable of making you feel that comfortable, where you could actually be that vulnerable with us. So
I think the difference is, some people would think when I'm alone doing my show that I would be at my most comfortable, which I am, But the difference between this experience and being with you guys is that not only was I comfortable, but I also had somebody else prompting me on the discussion. You see what I'm saying? So you guys kind of drove the discussion and probably pulled out things that I organically just would not have brought up because they probably just wouldn't have had a place in me doing a reality television review or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why Aaron created the house. So it could be a comfortable space.
Hats off to Aaron. I'm surprised you ain't got on one of your costumes, like, because I be loving you with your Game of Thrones feathers on, and Queen of the Dragons, and all of that.
Somebody in the chat just said, "I appreciate a toned down Aaron, showing y'all versatility." Okay.
Wow.
But,
I don't even.
But you know, Funky,
I'm
into the wigs, and you. It almost felt like you were saying that was a shield, and you had to get through something, and then you could take the wig off. Is that correct?
That is correct. You know, when I started all of this, I was an accountant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have people. People didn't know me like that, and people think celebrity and fame or popularity, whatever you want to call it, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not cut out. Let me tell you something. Half the people who make disparaging comments on social media, if they were just to receive 5 negative comments, they probably would shut the hell down and be ready to jump off of a bridge. So multiply that by 10,000. So yeah, most definitely that Dusty Bob wig was most definitely a shield because all of this was new to me. People are throwing darts and daggers at you, but over time, you know what I'm saying? Once I got the lay of the land, I was like, oh, I got this. I'm not going to let no, random person sitting behind a desk in Minnesota make me feel any type of way.
I was looking at you today, and I actually put it in the chat. I said, "Shit, you fine as hell."
Oh, I appreciate it, Mama. I appreciate it.
I said yes.
I'll take it where I can get it.
The truth. It's the truth. It's so sad in our culture because of the Europeans. But I often say that they lay in the sun, baby, knowing that they'll catch skin cancer. Not to look like me. I'm watered down. Yeah. They can't get chocolate enough. So and so many suffer because of the lies that the enslavement demons told.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at us. We just lost here. I want to know, Funky, when you said, "Are we fucking or not?" and I said yes, are you going to take me up on that offer?
They said your stuff ain't no good. Aaron, they say your stuff ain't no good. That's why you got to dress it up with all them costumes and stuff. They say this pattern on, ran through, used and abused.
You know what? I'm not going to deny that.
We had fun.
I mean, but if you catch me on a drunk night when all other options have been expired, why not?
No. Okay. Listen.
Antonio came to the party with the 5-piece of arm candy. I mean, fine. Y'all look so cute.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl.
On a drunk night.
Thank you, Cheryl. One of the things I wanted to lift up is, first of all, this is our season premiere. We're very excited about it, and just wanted to, on the behalf of my co-hosts, thank you, Funky, for being our first guest. I think that the experience of you being our first guest and how vulnerable you are and able here to talk about that experience, because you introduced a lot of new folks to the house, right? As we were watching in the chat, I think it's really powerful that people get to see what the house is all about. So it isn't just somewhere you come and talk, but we have an impact. Yep. And we're really, really excited about that. And we're really, the reason, not just because you're the first guest, but you could have come and not been able to navigate the waters of the house the way that you did. And I think the reason you were able to open up, not only because of the environment and we made you feel comfortable, but it was different. And we're finding that this season with many of the guests that's going to be in season 2, they've all commented about this is not the talk show experience that they're used to. This isn't where you bring your media experience. Yeah, and you don't bring your media training to the house.
Right. No,
you go right through that.
and even if you do, just the energy in the room definitely breaks all of that down. And when in Rome, you do as Romans do. Everybody's got their hair laid down and their feet kicked up. You almost look like an idiot being all buttoned up and tight-lipped because we are in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
You know,
fans like that.
I just want to say we being told to talk about the slap that sounded all over the world. That's what I'm seeing in the chat.
I really don't want to talk about the slap.
I didn't either.
After talking about that,
we do other things. The house, we ain't talking about what everybody else talking about.
I'm gonna tell you something. When I saw that came across, and we were supposed to pivot to that, I can understand you feeling like that. You know, I can understand it.
I don't have anything to say personally.
I'm all fried out.
We're exhausted from talking about it.
Okay, Chris.
Cheryl had some novel things to say, but she said, "I'm not going to say it on TGIF." I was like, "Cheryl, you better say. You better."
Well, you know what, Cheryl? I do want to comment about the TGIF because when I was there first, one of the things that happened was Funky Dineva actually said, "I want to be your first guest if you guys get a next season." So for me, this was very special because he was our first guest when we got a next season.
Yep, you made that happen. And thank you for that.
He did not ask that when the world could see it. When we ended it, he thanked me for coming and said, "I look forward to meeting you in person. I would love to be your first guest if you guys get a next season." That was off camera. No one knew. And when I then shared that with the production team and he was our first guest, I felt very honored to know that my voice, had an impact on him being our first guest and that was so dope.
And you want to know what's funny? I echo that sentiment because I remember we were sitting at the table and I talked about Cheryl coming on TGIF. You know what I'm saying? And when the time came for it, once I didn't know when you guys were debuting, but when the marketing material started coming down the line, and I was like, okay, they're getting ready to gear up. I had hit the production team. I was like, all right, look, I'm the first guest on the house. I think we need to have somebody from the house on our show. And they were like, who do you want? I said, Cheryl. I said, I have Cheryl. She already expressed interest. And they were like, you know what? Cool. We're going to make it happen. Boom, 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 boom. So same thing. And I felt good. I honestly felt like, I was doing something like the people listening to me. You know what I'm saying? But it was great. And Cheryl, how was your experience on TGIF?
And I just want to say that I know it was you. And when I got the call from a few people, the call came through. Several people, different people over there. I don't remember who's who because it was shocking. Kurt called me first and said I was going to get some calls, but you understand what it means coming out the gate with you to do something like that. And I didn't know what to expect. And you all, even when the cameras weren't rolling, was just down home.
Yeah.
And I catch a lot of flux for being so, open, with my life. People think sometimes I do it for sensation, but if I could be anybody else, I would. I just can't. And so when I get when I find those that can embrace me for just who I am and be comfortable in their own skin, and it's you can tell it, it's more than an honor. And that's what I feel.
I'm sure I'm not overstepping my bounds, but Aaron and Antonio, the door is definitely open for you guys. That just means I got to get 2 more seasons at least. You know what I'm saying? So at least.
Funky Dineva speaking it into existence when we want to say
into existence.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have
just giving
Sampson
us courage
McCormick is joining us.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, Sampson's going to join the conversation as well.
Oh, come on, I love Sampson.
There he is.
Hey y'all.
There goes Sampson. Hey Sampson.
Dineva. Hey y'all, how you doing?
Good.
I don't even know how to bring nobody in. Sampson McCormick. Did you get to see the show with Funky Dineva?
Well, I saw it twice. I was there when it premiered. The night before last?
Wednesday.
Yes.
Good.
They went crazy.
And from what I saw, from what I saw, I know the whole season is going to be awesome, but I know that's going to be the best episode. It has to be.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I tried.
Absolutely.
I got to come with it in this interview, so I definitely tried.
Funky set the bar, but Funky set the bar, and there's some guests that came and leaped over it. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So tune in all season.
Okay.
But you know what? But Funky, I'm gonna say you were the one who held Cheryl to task, and I appreciated that very, very much.
You did. Yes, you did. Let me say what Doug said. DeLuca came. He said, "I've never seen you laugh so much." And I, you know, you be on this grind and you be so serious, and you know, especially when you coming about the ghetto, you feel me? I don't try to pretend I come from nothing, gutter, bottom, black bottom ghetto. And so for you to be able to have me lose myself in the moment, man, I'm honored.
Not the gutter, Cheryl. It wasn't the gutter. That's metaphor, right? That's metaphor, right? Please tell them it's a metaphor. You weren't literally in the gutter.
All I can say is that major moment, you know, you really had us all laughing. You were natural. Sampson McCormick at the show. You just, all y'all, man, both of y'all something else. A talent to the highest level.
And for those of you who may not know, Sampson was a guest in season 1. So Sampson is, of course, a part of the fam as well, because you know, once you come to the house, you're always
family. And a comedian.
Right. Yes. You know, and so it was great seeing so many of the season 1 guests who came out Wednesday night at our premiere and supported. I mean, I think that really speaks to the experience as well that folks have on our show. And, you know, I don't know if you got to hear any of the after show earlier, Sampson, when Funky was talking about how he felt being, you know, at the house, at the table, and sharing his story. Maybe you can share a little bit about what it was like for you when you came to the house.
Oh, wow. So I think I've said this a bunch of times. That's the most drugs I've ever done off camera ever. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. I
was like,
where did he go?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, I think I've said this a bunch of times that it is one of the most authentic experiences that I've ever had on any live sit-down show, especially here in this town, because so many people put on airs. It's very refreshing to come somewhere and see folks strive for complete authenticity. And that's what it was. It was authentic.
Most definitely. I felt the same way.
I got to bring up, you know, I like to do what Kurt suggests. Somebody, let's, you know, a little bit about Will and the you know, his hurt, his anger. Sampson, anything you'd like to say about that moment, you know, within our community and at that moment, anything?
I'm ready for the next news subject. Okay. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we have to talk about it, me and a friend of mine, she's a doctor. She called me this morning on her way to work, and we had a conversation because a lot of people have attached, and I said this earlier on TGIF, a lot of people have attached the Protect Black Women movement to this whole slap situation. And I'm here to let y'all know, I may not be a Black woman. I may not be a woman at all, but I definitely don't think that this is a Protect Black Women moment. And I think that if you are one of those women who thinks that this is what it looks like when you protect Black women, then you're the same type of woman that sends your man out there to get shot, killed, and all these other things. And as opposed to this being a Protect Black Women moment, I think this is a Leave Black Women Vulnerable moment, because all things constant in the real world, if somebody says something to your man at his job and he walks up to them and slaps them, he's going to either end up in jail, or your ass need to be prepared to stand behind him while he's in the unemployment line, because one of two things, if not both, are going to happen. And how protected are you if he's dead or in jail, or if he is unemployed and you're homeless?
I hear
You
you.
know, we got to make sure. And I get where it comes from. Right? I get that in so many Black women are left unprotected, and they are looking for that moment where it's like, yes, somebody's standing up for us, but sis, this ain't it. Not this way. Not like this.
I'd like to kind of spin this to the other side of the coin and not so much about, but you, Sampson, as a performer, have you ever been in a situation where you've had, particularly as a comedian, there's hecklers, there are people that take that to different varying degrees. What's been your experience in terms of audience engagement, and has it ever crossed the line?
Oh, how timely. So actually this past Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but last Wednesday, March the 23rd, I was doing a show in Redding, California, and I had someone come up on the stage and punch me in the face. And I'm not Chris Rock. I will fight you back. And I did, and I kept going with the show. A trend that I'm noticing in comedy, though.
No. You kept fighting and the show, like, you have to explain that.
What you mean?
You said you were fighting and then you kept going with the show?
Yeah, so the dude got up on stage, he hit me, I hit his ass back a few times and threw him into a table, and then security came and got him, and I picked the microphone up and kept pushing.
Good for you.
Okay, well,
what was the impetus?
Okay.
What was the impetus of that person? Do you know why that person came up on the stage?
I know why, because they're crazy. They're going through something. That's the only thing that you can say. Violence. And were they black? That's my question. Were they black?
They were white. They were white. They were rednecks.
Rednecks. Okay.
So can you set the table? Can you set the table?
Hold on, Antonio. Wait, let me say something.
That?
Wait, let me just say something. Any outside force that dictates someone peace means they are being controlled. And so that is the gist of it. When someone just cannot control themselves because you bother them so much, it immediately shows that they are drowning inside of pain within themselves, because there should be no outside force that dictates your peace. And what
I have no disagreement with that, Cheryl. What I was asking about was the circumstances that evening in the room that you're familiar with, Sampson, that precipitated this person stepping to you and punching you in your face.
Okay, well, let me just say this. Hold on. I can't wait to hear what you say. Because in a million years...
No, you clearly can wait because you keep talking.
In a million years, I can't imagine what I would even think to even ask the question, because it had to be someone that was psychotic. Go ahead, Sampson, and then I'm going to come back in about Will. Go ahead.
So, I never had this problem performing. I think that I am one of the most lovable comedians working. I don't rag on people. My stuff is pretty family friendly and fun. But I'm from Southeast DC. So if you yell out in the middle of my very lovable show and try to interrupt me, I'm going to roast you and make you a part of the show. And so the woman who hollered out, she only had about 3 teeth in her mouth. So I said, "Why are you in here yelling without teeth in your mouth?" And so the audience started laughing. She covered her mouth, and I asked her, "How many teeth do you have?" And so she came around and tried to get on stage. And, I told the audience, clearly she wants some attention, so clap for her. They did. She said something else, and then she ran in the back to, I guess, her cousin or sister. That person started hugging her. So I was like, and she was yelling, what did she say? "You asshole, why would you say that to her?" And I was like, "You shut up before I talk about your big ass too." So when I said that, whoever the guy was that they were with came around the corner. He was about 2 times my size, and he jumped up on stage and he hit me right here in my jaw. And we started fighting.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Aaron, what's your take on the Will situation?
I will say this about what Sampson just said, and this is maybe not popular, but I do believe that comedy has been so powerful in our culture, and it has normalized abuse towards larger people, towards all kinds of people, towards queer people. It's okay to make fun of this group of people because you heard Monique doing it, or you heard your favorite comedian doing it. And, you know, we all grew up in this culture. I believe we all grew up, you know, in Black families, and we all looked up to our comedians. These were our cultural leaders. And I just think that, you know, my favorite show was In Living Color. And that show normalized making fun of Oprah Winfrey for gaining weight. And just all kinds of people that it's okay to make fun of. And I don't think violence is the way to fix that. But I do think that this is an opportunity to talk about the responsibility that comedians should have to not normalize making fun and targeting and abusing groups of people. That's just my take on it.
Okay, so I want to challenge that really quickly. One thing I wish would happen, and I want to see more of in society, is for people to hold our politicians to the fire the way they do comedians. Wow. It's a shame when you will cancel a comedian, but you won't go vote somebody out of office or protest in the street to get them out of office. But we're held to that type of standard. Traditionally, comedians have always challenged society. They've always made us comfortable with the uncomfortable. And sometimes that is the way that you look. Sometimes that is the fact that you're fat. Sometimes it's because you're ugly, or you're poor, or you're gay. Nobody is exempt. I think what is missing is that people don't have a sense of humor anymore. People are too sensitive. And, you know, when I was growing up, it was stick to stones may break your bones. We clearly have a problem when we live in a society where 12-year-olds are on antidepressants because they're on Twitter and can't take somebody saying something about them. When we were growing up, somebody said something about you. Hopefully you had a joke that was better than theirs. If not, y'all fought, and the next day y'all were friends. Clearly something is missing from society now. I think it's the fact that people can't live with the truth anymore. Comedy is truth.
I would love to see comedians find humor, not in people, but in situations, things that we all go through that we can. So, you know, one of my favorite comedians, the special, the whole special is never making fun of people. It's always situations. You know, when you're in the restroom and you need to wash your hands.
What's the name of the comedian that does that?
Who is it? Because it might not be funny. Who is it?
But I feel like if I say who that person is, you're just going to tune out because you don't like that person.
No, it's not going to. No, we want to understand where you are in terms of you're funny.
I'm going to give an example of.
Who is the comedian, girl? Who is the comedian?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because you will invalidate what I'm saying.
We're not trying to.
That's so negative.
We're not trying to, but it seems as if you already know that if you mention the name of the person, that is going to invalidate your argument. So your argument is probably invalidated before you even started speaking. So again, who is the comedian?
I already know what you're going to talk about other things other than
no. I'm a mature and adult who can approach
a chance
collectively. Who is the comedian?
Give us a chance.
Because now we're having an incomplete.
Give us a chance.
I will give you a chance by giving you an example of the humor. The humor is, you know, when you're walking and you trip.
Situational humor.
when you trip, like when you're walking down the street and you trip and you try to act like you did it on purpose, like, yep, let me just jog for a little bit. Yep. You know, that kind of thing.
Oh my God, Aaron, it's you. You're the comedian. There it is.
Well, you just proved my point. Thank you. You could never go to Detroit or New York City or Brooklyn or Cleveland or any of those big black cities and do that on stage and get away with it.
I don't think there's.
You don't have to make fun
of our people.
Go ahead, Antonio.
It's not making fun out of people. It's making fun out of what people really. It's making fun out of what people really think. It's making fun out of things conversations that we have at home and helping us get comfortable with the fact that we're human enough to have those experiences. If you look at Joan Rivers, it was rooted in tragedy, but it was funny because it was honest. It was about tragedy. Richard Pryor's the same way.
Put it on herself too. She didn't make fun of other people without making fun of herself.
But that does not excuse the hurt that you cause by making fun of other people. Oh, I do it to myself too. I don't care what you do to yourself. I care about what you do to me.
Listen, if you go to one when somebody call you fat and it causes you so much hurt, your problem is bigger than that comedy show.
There you go.
So what I was going to say.
If you're fat, you're fat.
Wait, whoa.
Okay,
what I
what?
want to say.
Let Antonio in.
Now we can do better than this.
Come on. I waited.
Let Antonio in, and I'm coming in. Go ahead.
We're still doing fat jokes. In this year,
let
are you kidding me? We got to elevate.
Okay.
I'm not arguing against elevating. What I was going to say is something a little bit different. I think that to Sampson's point and a couple other points that was made tonight, there's something about the contract and agreement when you go into a comedy environment. We now have so many different types of people with so many different types of expectations coming into a space and wanting all of those needs met. And it's kind of something Q talked about in the episode tonight as well. That's not going to happen. And so to water everything down to the point that you just can't say anything because you may offend someone is not going to make for an interesting experience for the majority of people. So I think there's certain environments, sort of like even how certain cultures communicate with each other. For some people, that's very off-putting and makes them nervous and uneasy, and they want you to not communicate that way because it makes them nervous and uneasy. But the people who are in and I'm not saying that if someone's saying my tone or something is uncomfortable to them, if I'm interested in making sure that our communication works, I'll make that adjustment. But to come into where we have a contract that's how we talk over each other, we get louder, and we're not offended, that should be able to be okay. For somebody to just enter that space and decide, oh, that's not how you communicate. You shouldn't be doing that. And I think some of what you're saying, Aaron, takes on that kind of a tone. So we either got to water everything down, or we've got to be open to somebody coming in and fundamentally changing the rules of engagement at any given time. And I think that we have to just have more communication about what the rules of engagement are. In certain environments, you might get your feelings hurt. So you shouldn't go in that environment. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because, again, even if your feelings get hurt, the key is as an adult and your frontal lobe is supposedly developed as an adult. We got kids getting tried as murderers at 13, 14. That's why their frontal lobe isn't developed. But if your frontal lobe is developed and you are consider yourself a logical person, again, or your feelings may get hurt, but hopefully you have something inside of you, that other voice telling you what they feel is not really has to be your reality. And back to Will, I want to say these words with no, and it's a very a touchy conversation. In this business was set up and by people who infused the casting couch into this game called Hollywood. And the old regime and the ones that control, gatekeepers of the doors, set it up whereas you were going to do some things in this game if you wanted to get in the game. And a lot of our people had to do a lot of things that they supposed to be shamed about right now. And in keeping that kind of thing inside and not being able to fully express, I did what I had to do because I had to survive. I was under certain pressures and I had to pick door number 1, 2, or 3. And I did it to finally be able to stand up. Yes. Okay, let me finish. Finally to be able
to about anymore.
Oh, no. Well, I'm getting ready to bring it all the way home.
Okay.
To be able to stand up. All of the rappers that are being called, oh, they're gay, and people are hiding what's inside of them. I feel like that is when you explode. And that is when you will see a situation that happened at the Oscars. So take it for what it's worth. The whole reason I said it is because my prayer is that people like Will truly get to free himself inside, his sexuality, and everything else about who he is.
Okay. With that, we're on time, Cheryl. We're gonna close on
Wait,
that.
Antonio, are you
Funky,
wrapping up?
Yes, we're wrapping up. We're gonna say
somebody wanted
Funky.
me to tell another joke. Can I
No,
tell another joke?
next live, next weekend, more jokes. Is that okay?
But it's the joke from the special. They want to know, is this funny or not? This is a quick one.
Tune in next week, and you'll tell them to tune in next week, and you'll do it, and you can tell them whether it's funny.
Okay.
All right, y'all got that. Tune in next week, and we'll have the joke from Aaron. We want to thank Funky. We want to thank Sampson for joining us in the after show. It's great to have you.
Thank y'all.
And welcome to the family.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. I look forward to doing another sit down.
God bless you both.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Funky Dineva, I owe you one.
I owe you too, baby.
God bless you. Bye, Samson.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Night, Chris. Night, Eric.